Hello, hello. This is a bit sooner than what is expected due to the post about not really being able to do commentary, but I found out a way to do voice recording in the meantime, so that previous timeline of 4 months is now irrelevant, or rather, less relevant, and I'll be able to at least put something out there that is commentary. Now, with that being said, I will be going back to Imperial A like 2 videos again, which I did just to get commentary on all of these. So today we'll be doing Mutant on Imp A. I don't believe that was the commander I did last time. I did Imperial A like ages ago, I think at the beta still. So it'll be nice to get a new one out there with commentary as well. Now, I will note that this is going to be on the beta branch that's currently out right now that has a bunch of new events that were added. So you'll be seeing a lot of those in this video. But outside of that, it's essentially going to be the current release, which is 1.2.4 for this beta, which should be out relatively soon. With like the ruins and all like the previous videos. The previous recent ones, I should say, at least. Now, Imperial A, as a ship, is pretty, like, mediocre. There's not really much going on here that's special. I mean, you got boarding starting out, which is really nice. You generally want boarding on really any ship for it to be any amount successful. Boarding is a very consistent way to do sabotage to, say, shields like I did in this fight, or weapons, or really any system that you want to do, compared to something that is more remote, like the armament system and whatnot. You have to contend with both hitting your shots and hitting through shields, whereas boarding does not have to contend with that. Really outside of the ship starting with boarding though, the only other real notable thing is that these enforcers don't have tool slots. Outside of that, the ship's just, you got decently chunky crew health-wise. That's about really it. Alright. This event's pretty nice. Great, that'll be good scrapping. Oh, little neat thing with these ships with the... So if they have an armament like this where one is 12 seconds and one is a disruptor, what you can do is you can shut off the shields, let the disruptor shot through, and the retributor, or this can also be a thunder one, shoots slow enough that the shield can recharge and then catch the shot, which is always really nice. I am going to recall. And I'm going to reboard it there. So, a while back, like this is ages ago, they made it so that you can't pre-destroy crates. But what you can still do is destroy crates while crew are in the room. So, you can claim still by doing that. And this is a primary thing you'll be doing on like Imperial fortresses and ruins. Well, not really ruins, but Imperial fortresses mainly, where these like Imperial fortresses, which you might see later on, have a ton of like really bulky crew on them, like these marshals, centurions and whatnot. So oftentimes you may need to use your armaments to break the chest and just have your crew in the room to flame it. Early on with the ship, you'll be playing it really like any other ship in the sense that you're going to want to get Shield Charger Hell Reaper. You don't really need to consider getting a boarding system, which is pretty much launch bay, or going for some sort of boarding like Etheric Gate, Heavy Translocator, Chaos Rift, or Grace Cursed Reliquary. You don't really need it early on or at all. You can get away with it. This does suck though. Shield Charger is just out of range, so either I could pass on it or I can sell the bullet cannon to get it now. which I will do. Generally, you're going to want to put systems in 2x2s. They're the only reasoning for that really is just because 2x2s make it so that you can fit more crew in the room. Therefore, if you really want the system to be active, then you can put 4 crew in the room and repair it incredibly fast, which is, if shield charger gets disabled and you need to use shield charger, you want to repair it as fast as you possibly can. Alright. Also, the partial reasoning of why I even sold the bolt cannon in the first place for the shield charger is that boarding can supplement my shield break. I really don't need this extra bolt cannon, and the storm one is going to be more than enough to really finish out fights. Or at least early on. Later on it may struggle to do so. But for now, until like maybe Necrophage, or likely Necrophage, but really any of the mini bosses, you could probably get away with it if you have really good boarding, but otherwise, by then, just a Storm 1 is probably going to be a little anemic, but the chances of that happening are relatively low. Alright. This is the awkward armament. Actually, no, this is a really good armament. I mean, a lot of these early enemies will generate in either good ways or bad ways. I mean, enemy can either be good or bad, but by that I mean, like, it's very common for enemies to either have an armament that can't do anything against you, like the Disruptor and the 12-second one gun, where you can just shield flicker, or they'll have something like this. And then other times they'll have something like double bolt cannon or something, and they'll just plink damage at you over time. I actually might have done a bad thing by sabotaging, or not sabotaging, but hitting weapons there, because I disrupted the firing sequence of these, like where Beam 1 was right before Thunder, but it seems like the time that I repaired it made it so that it is still in that sequence, so it's all good. But what can happen is, if this sequence is favorable, like where the B1 fires and then the Thunder 1 fires and then you blow up weapons like I did here, what can happen is they'll repair that, this will get charging, and then it'll fire, and then this will fire way after, and because there's a 1 second difference, they'll eventually like cycle around, and then the Thunder will fire right before the B1, and then it'll get some damage. But usually these fights are quick enough that it's not really an issue. I think I'm just gonna put auto fire on here because there's not really much else to do in this fight. Actually, hold on, I should target there. Because every time I'm hitting shields, it's just getting repaired by engineers. At least here there's a chance that it won't get fully repaired by the time another Storm 1 comes out. Pay a little attention. Okay, Beam 1. Okay, so this is gonna fire really far away from the firing event of the Thunder, so nothing really bad's gonna happen here. Alrighty. Nice. So it's Commando. Oh, another one. Okay, with this armament combination in the early game, if you have someone manning shields, it should fully resist both of these, but otherwise I don't think it does. Or rather, it can not sometimes, but other times it will. I think it depends on if someone's manning this or not. I forget exactly though. Have fun. Just keep missing. Alright. I can't board because I'm out of effective HP.
you know, there's not really much to really do in this fight other than just sit here. Okay, they're repairing before I hit, okay, yeah. I could shield chargered, what am I doing? I just assumed that it wouldn't penetrate my shields, but the 2-second difference actually cycled around. Oh right, every 5 shots they still shoot at the same time, I believe. Because, starts at 12, starts at 10, and then if this fires 4 times, that 5th shot will be at that same 10-second mark as the bolt cannon. So they'll shoot at the same time, which is when I need to use my shield charger. Alright. It would be nice to have a bolt cannon here to accelerate the fight, but oh my gosh. This is a little... Okay, this next salvo I think is going to be... They're synchronized, they were very close in the previous salvo. Yeah, so I'll just shield charger. Oh my gosh. This guy with 15% evasion is more like 30. It doesn't matter, it's not gonna change his fate, but it's really annoying. Alright. Welding torch, I guess. Oh yeah, new event, right. Alright. At least I get Grave Beam. I'll be charged in like 50 years with 28-second cooldown, but... yeah. I'm not gonna equip the Fortress Shield, I actually do want my movement speed on all my guys. Like, this guy doesn't really benefit from it. Significantly. And my mutant, I also want his movement speed still. And he has high enough base HP that he's not really struggling for it. Alright. Now that I have some HP back, I can board shield. I cannot board shields. Alright. Let's board to sensors, I suppose. Man, this would have been a really nice ship to get a boarding into shields on. I think I'll just recall. There's not really much point for me to be there. And, of course... okay, you're gonna hit shield charger. Do I need shield? Oh, I could have shield chargered there to not take the damage. Little dumb by me, but it's fine. Alright, let's shoot shields, and then let's Grave Beam 6 rooms, perhaps? No, just 5. And let's shield charger this time. To not get hit by that big one that I let myself essentially get hit by twice. A weird quirk about Grave Beam is that, despite it doing hull damage, it does no system damage, which is interesting, to say the least. I mean, it's nice to have in the background running, just to get some extra hull damage, like in this fight. It's just really nice to have, because what would have taken ages like that previous Raider fight now took a lot quicker. Now I got my bolt cannon back, effectively. Just 2 seconds longer with a fire chance of like, I don't know, 30%, I think. No, it is 30%, yeah. It doesn't say it there, but the Retributor fire chance, I believe, is 30%. Bolt cannon fire chance, I think, is 20%. I don't know why it is a comparable fire chance, but it does. Alright. These are both 12 seconds and they're siege bombard, so I will want to take this fight quickly if I can help it. Let's hit everything into shields and use shield charger to absorb the first impact. And now with shields being distracted so heavily, I can shoot everything into the armament-based systems. And because they weren't manning, I should have like a notable cooldown advantage over them, but it wasn't enough to prevent them from firing, sadly.
4 damage sucks, but 3 damage rather. But it's not. It's livable. All right. Not really much interesting to do other than do these fights as of current. Most of the interesting choices in this game happen when you go to shops, or the pathing involved with like quest nodes, shops, and special pre-designated nodes like ruins, imperial fortresses, etc. I think we'll be going to the ordnance expert. Ideally, I want to get something like Hull Reaper. And if I didn't get Hull Reaper, the guaranteed missile bay is always nice. Not only to just get out the pool, but it also is just a good system. This is a pretty lucky run, all things considered. Getting a Hull Reaper and Shield Charger both in the first sector. Imagine this run won't be that sketchy. Nor hard. I'm gonna go to the quest node. I believe it's going to have a better reward, but I don't exactly know, because a lot of these events are new, and I have to actually learn what they do. Alright. Let's try to kill this guy really quickly. And then move Mutant over there, and both of these fires Hull Shield Charger. Nice. Let's hit both. And both miss. Fantastic. I'm not going to use Hull Reaper in this fight. I want to preserve my munitions for when I actually need the weapon to do the weapon part, rather than just get some healing. Which would be nice, but I don't really need it at this point. Okay, that should be more than enough to finish this fight out. Alright. Another fight. Maybe I shouldn't have boarded this guy. A thing you can do with Imperial A, and this also applies to really any ship that has multiple valid boarders when all you can board is really 2 people, is that what you can do is rotate who's boarding. So like, now that this guy's low HP, you can put the higher HP guy on and then board him instead. The main 2 ships this is like applicable on is going to be this ship and Interdictor B rather. Both of those ships benefit from this strategy a fair bit. With this ship, it's less important, but with Interdictor B, with the commandos not having a armor slot for additional HP, and also just having a little base HP so they don't heal a lot, rotating out the commandos becomes relatively important, whereas with this ship, it is still notable, but it's not as impactful because of the higher base HP, and the fact that you can increase their base HP by the armor slots that they come with. If you find armor, that is. I wouldn't really recommend buying armor for that reason, but if you have a load of scrap, I mean, why not, I suppose. Alright, a little thing with the Blood Priests. They always target a room with crew in them. So, what you can do is you can move all your crew into different rooms, and it won't hit any of your crew. It's tedious when you get ships with a lot of crew, like later on. And also later on, the enemy ships, if they generate with Blood Priests, they can generate with like 6 sometimes, which becomes incredibly tedious to do all of this, because you have to go to a new room that didn't have crew in it every time one of the Blood Priest casts. But it is something you can do, and the same thing applies for mind controls, or really any spell that targets crew specifically. Seer Gate is a very good find here. Be a little dumb not to take it. Can't use it right now, per not having Psyker slots, but if I just find any Psyker that is good at boarding as the one, which granted is actually pretty few and far between, but the upside of it with Etheric Gate not having to do this whole shenanigans of using a power bar, having to load people in a specific room, and then going to only a certain amount of designated places that you can go, and instead with Etheric Gate you can just go wherever you want every 20 seconds. It's a lot better. Especially in the bosses where you are not guaranteed a boarding room into shields or the siege systems that you want to actually board and destroy if you want to. Alright. Just claim this normally, it's going to be the easiest thing right now. And I can just rotate these guys. I have a lot more munitions now, so I think it might be beneficial for me to start hull recruiting. I got a lot of munitions really quickly from events. It's pretty nice. Alright. So we got the Imperial Fortress right here. And a system shop right after it. And it's not really a bad system shop. It will have missile bay, and I already... The main downside is that I already have all the systems that I want, so there isn't like a significant benefit to going to future ordnance, or rather system shops. But it's still a good path, and it's not like the other path is going to be crew. So it's gonna be the best option that I can take right now. And here's what I was talking about with the fortresses. Like in this case, they have 2 Centurions. And the other ones are pretty tanky as well. Now, there is this little undetected thing here. If I move into a room with a crew member, they will become detected, and they'll just run after me. I don't think I can actually get to the other rooms without doing it, unless if I wanted to deploy infiltrators and go here. And then sneak around. I think I'll just do this by killing this guy, and then what I'll do is I will hit shields with everything to keep it disabled. And then I will run it around your ship until my guns recharge. And then I will use my gun, or I could also use Hull Reaper if I wanted, but I don't really see the point of using a Hull Reaper in this fight. You can't Hull Reap fortresses. It won't let you get HP from it, so there's not really... If you can help it, there's not much of a point. 76 scrap is insane. That is a ton of money. Stygian. And the last crate's probably not going to be that great. But I'm still going to get it. Ooh, nice. They're just going to let me get it, too. Neat. Now I have a ton of scrap. That'll help a lot. Is this Torment 12? Yeah. That is a lot of scrap. Alright. And you're gonna get a missile button. Despite a large portion of a watch of getting missile bay being that increases the chances of these systems, it is also just a good system. In general though, you do want to max out your system slots if you can help it. A lot of these systems are still really good at 1 power. Like, Strawpit's like one of the few exceptions to this, but even like Siege Bombard isn't terrible at 1 power. Like, it does do at least decent hull damage. Like, Siege Bombard only shoots like every 4 seconds at level 1, but it's still additional hull damage. Siege Beam, on the other hand, at 1 power is significantly better for hull damage, but that is for another time to talk about if I find it. Alright. I'm not gonna... Actually, I could ban it. I think I will ban it. Doors is important, but I don't think it... Oh, I guess I'll buy both. Doors is important, but not as much right now in Sector 2. I'm gonna sell these breach charges. Breach charges in general aren't that great. Oh, what I could do is give this to mutants, because I don't actually have an etheric gate user right now. So if I don't get one by the mini-boss, it could be beneficial. And I can give you the Welding Torch. Nice. Alright, what do I have? Mercenary Broker is probably where we're gonna go. The system shop is not gonna be great. And that's for the reasons that I described earlier. Alrighty. 3 bolt cannons. I would love that as my armament. Actually, so a thing about very synchronized arms like this, triple bolt cannon, but this can also be like really with anything, is that they can occasionally pierce shield charger, and they can do it pretty consistently, because if you have a lot of projectiles coming at the exact same time or in very close proximity to each other, shield charger will get overwhelmed. And additional shield bars will help mitigate that, because you have a lot larger of essentially a pool of buffer shields to pull from, so that you can shield charge them fast enough. But with one shield, and with very synchronized armaments like that, there isn't enough shield bars to really buffer out some time, and then you just get hit. Alright, notice you prayers been answered. Okay, promise to drive the machine cultist away. That's seems like the only option, because declining is never the option. You always want to accept things in this game. Unless if declining is the more profitable option, which is almost never true. The answer to everything in this game is simply yes. Oh, here's a fun little bug. You may have noticed that the previous node had a blood priest as the little portrait guy on the dialogue thing. If that happens and there's no combat event, they just become the commander of the next ship, from what I've seen. And this will apply also to demonic ships, and you'll get situations where you have like a random, a rather seemingly random Imperial enforcer, like a commando or something on the ship. I'm gonna recall before I kill myself. Alright. But yeah. So that's where that bug comes from, if you were curious. If you noticed that at all. Alright. Speak of demonic ships, I get one. Alright. I will board with the lower HP one. I don't want to damage the HP of the other one. Yeah, it's just, okay, just a hunger. I'll kill this hunger, shoot everything here, and then claim this. Then bombard them with all of my armaments. Combat shield is a pretty nice reward thing. I'll add 1 DPS to mutant, essentially. And there we go. I'll take the husk, put it on doors, and actually no, I'll put it on missile bay. So, a thing with squishy crew members that I like to keep in mind. I don't think I'll quit. A thing with squishy crew members that I like to keep in mind is with stuff like 15 HP, and that's what I really mean by squishy, anything above 15 HP is generally bulky enough. but like say 2 boarders go into my doors room right now, what will happen in some cases is that 15 HP crew member will not, oh my gosh, another one? They won't be able to run out of this room in time, and they'll just like die, and there's not really much you can do because you positioned a 15 HP crew member in that room, far away from the doors, or really any escape route out of that room. So I generally like putting anything that isn't 15 HP in rooms where there isn't an immediate exit on the operating room. Or rather on the operating tile. Look at, oh my gosh, of course he gets out of the room. Alright. This enemy can't really do hull damage to me, can he? Alright. I'm gonna hold my armament here, because I want to kill a crew member with my boarding first on shields, and then shoot my armament. Or just shoot it now, because Grave Beam's up. And oh, it just, oh yeah, it spawned a ghoul here and it spawned on here. Okay. Another one. That's great. That might be fun to play around with, double Grave Beam. Maybe I can even get a 3rd one, though I find that unlikely. I will use the... I'll try to max out in Grave Beams this run. I think it would be pretty funny to do. Alright. Yeah, no, just keep going. Alright, I'll address that later about sector choice, but a little tidbit on sectors. There's 2 types of sectors. Yeah, whatever, I'll just talk about it now. There's 2 types of sectors. There's named sectors, like the one I'm currently in, which is Imperial Shrine Worlds, if you can read it down there, but it'll be evident in the sector select in a few jumps. But there's 2 types. There's named sectors like this one, and there's not named. And the only difference between these 2 is that named sectors are longer than not named sectors, or rather, normal sectors, I suppose. And in general, you just always want to choose the sector that has a special name to it compared to the generic sector. And because of that, you'll just get more scrap because those sectors are longer. Outside of that, though, sector choice is pretty much what events do you like more. Like if you get 2 normal sectors like Blood Cult Warzone and a War Cult Warzone, just choose your favorite, really. They have roughly the same scrap. Wow, 5 ionization to my O2, that does nothing. Alright. Oh, I'll send you this one, I think. Do I have the same amount of power? I absolutely don't. I lost 2 power, what? Okay. Bugs are fun. We love bugs. Alright. Looks like I'm just down out of 2 reactor power. I'll have to report that after this run. I have seen other people getting this bug though with the reactor power, and it seems to occur in what actually just happened right now, which is the events that have ionization tied to them. It seems to just remove the ion power, if I understood it properly. What would be tragic in this run would be if I got a bunch of those and then I just lost all my reactor power, but hopefully that won't happen. If it does, I would be rather upset. I'm gonna use a missile here, just so when my Hull Reaper gets off cooldown, or if Grave Beam can fire, it'll fire into something that has no shields. Alright. This should kill. Nice. Alrighty. Both of these are really good. Engineer's just a really good unit in general, but also Machine Priest events are really good. And Chaos Engine is just really good anti-boarding. I think I'll get the Engineer then. Ooh. Hey! Free Ball Golem. But yeah. Let's give you... yeah, just give you the Stygian. Also, I have seen people be surprised that you can do this, but if you want to rearrange your crew, you can just click, hold them a little bit, and then drag. You can also keybind things, like if I want this to be keybinded to one, you can just hover over it and click one. It isn't explained anywhere in the tutorial, partly because the tutorial hasn't been changed since, like, the beta, but it is a thing you can do. You can also keybind everything here if you want. Alright, stun is really good. I will be getting that. Now I have 4 shields and, like, only one guy to put it on. I guess you can add one. And you'll get the riot. It's, oh, I don't have space. Well, I have tool slots, so I may as well use them. And you can have that. Actually, I'll give you the Fiend and just sell the Stygian because I'm running out of space. Get the Siege Axe, put it on you. I don't really like Blessed Hammer. I don't think it's worth the purchase. Same with Servo Arm. Although Servo Arm's a tool slot. Attack is sometimes useful. I don't really need it though. Well, both tacks are pretty decent. I guess I have to buy 1 power because I lost 2. Alright. Put you on engines. Alrighty. Stun won't be impactful in this fight because of the scribes just purifying instantly when I get stunned, but it'll be a lot nicer later on. If you've ever played this game and gotten stunned, I'm sure you know the inherent strength behind it. I will Hull Reaper here. I have enough munitions, and I just want this fight to be over. Spawn a Thrall. Help deal with that fire. Okay. A little tip on radiums. So, like that fight just had a radium, you didn't see me really do anything special with that radium being in that fight because shields could just absorb it. But, if a radium is going to hit your hull, or you think that it's likely going to, depending on your torment, the torment that adds essentially bias for the enemies to shoot system rooms will mean that the radium will always shoot a system room. And what you can do using that knowledge is just move all your crew out of system rooms and you'll never get hit by the radium. It is relatively useful if you get randomly sniped by radiums occasionally, which I do see myself and other people occasionally getting sniped by radiums because the fight may have another factor, or you just didn't have quick enough hands. Like, in the case of, like, a separate factor, the most common one that will get people, and myself included, is that you won't account for the graviton on the enemy. And what will happen is they'll shoot the radium, and the enemy waits about, I think, 15 seconds or so to activate, no, 10 seconds or so, to activate the graviton. And, well, it's somewhere around that range, but it'll wait a little bit to activate the graviton, and it ends up timing it well enough that when the radium is about to hit, graviton is going to be active, and if say, a radium hit here with Graviton active and I haven't pre-moved my Imperial Recruit, there's really not much I can do. He'll just die to the radium. Unless if he has enough HP, that is. Alright. Death Cult, War Cult. I'm gonna go to War Cult. So, a little note about named sectors. 4 of the 6, if I'm getting that right, but I do know the, that it is generally more likely that, a named sector is going to be in a civilian sector node than a war zone node. So if you pass to maximize the amount of civilian nodes you get to, you can increase your chances of finding a named sector. Alright, nod. Always agree to people. Just be a yes man, and you'll be rich in this game. Alright, let's get the other Grave Beam on. Alrighty. Not really much to do on this fight. It's pretty standard. Other than get stunned, I suppose. I'll just stay in there. I'm not going to bother to recall. I'll also just get hit by the disruptor because it doesn't do anything. All I need to do is make sure that this doesn't fire the Fusillade tube. Which I should be able to disrupt like so. I think I'm going to recall now because I already got my damage that I want. Alright. Nice. There we go. It won't kill, but it'll get really damn close to it. And the Grave Beam should finish them off. Getting a demonic module would be pretty funny here. Try to get as much value as I can out of this crew member before I swap the other one. Swap to the other one, rather. Okay. Let's kill this Corsair and then recall. That should... Actually, hold on, I have stun. I can just get a free kill here. And then... Mutant is tanking, so I can stay on Brimstone. And then I can still stay in the room because 3 damage. Alright, now I can leave. How do I actually want to do this? So there's going to be another fight after this. So... do I want to just fire that, let this charge, and then fire the Storm one? So that I go into the next fight with as much charge as I possibly can. You know? Alright, let's do it now. Nice. I could have waited even more to try to get the Gladius charged, but I'm probably not going to use it anyway in this fight. Alrighty. I should probably swap these guys out first. And then board shields. Kill this husk, get stunned, and then kill even more. Oh, that's a little tragic. Okay, yeah. I am going to shield charger here. I know 2 bolt cannons can't pierce my shields, but this is going to fire within the duration of shield charger. And it means that my cooldown will be slightly quicker, so it's beneficial. Alright. What's quicker to kill, the Gladiatrix or the Scavenger? Gladiatrix. There we go. Now that you are quicker to kill. And let's fire everything. I didn't need to get those kills. Kinda just... kinda just wanted to. At least the final 2. All I really needed to get is the shields disabled enough. Don't really need to fully disable it. It's 2 Grave Beams just end the whole Reaper.
would do a significant portion of damage. Alright. Let's see. Okay. No healing because of the shrine, but you should have enough HP that I can kill this husk, get stunned, and like get a bunch of chain. Oh no, I want to interrupt that. There we go. Get a kill here. Do I want a nerf kill? No, I'm gonna preserve my HP and fight everything. I'm going to shield charger. This should fire within the duration. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that should kill. Nice. And maxed out on hull, which is really, really ideal, I suppose. Alright, see if we can get some good crew here. War Knight would be funny. Ah, no War Knight. Conqueror is still pretty good though. Actually, I'll put you here. Where are you? Mind Bolt? That's not bad. Could get the Imperial Marshal and then just have a complete boarding crew. He also has a tool slot, which is beneficial. Yeah, I think I will get you, because I can put that on you. And get some extra DPS. Yep. So now Marshal is essentially with the Assault Shield, is a better Conqueror. Well, 5 less HP, but 1 more DPS is a lot more impactful. I'm not going to get any of this. None of it's really good. These DPS capping things I don't like. I don't think DPS capping in general is good. Against most crew it does nothing compared to a shield. I subtract 1 DPS. Because most enemies have 3, and against the fights where it is impactful, which granted are the fights that you do want to take less damage on, which is fighting stuff like Chaos Knights, Death Knights, etc., which have 5 DPS. I find that I would still just prefer the extra DPS from something like Combat Shield or Assault Shield. And I am aware that Chrono Field is a thing, but in that case, Chrono Field is 30 scrap, and the Assault Shield and Combat Shield are both cheaper than it. And the one that is not much cheaper than it, only 5 scrap less on Assault Shield. 2 DPS is a lot more impactful than, at least in my opinion, than the survivability that you get. Generally, I prefer the impacts of, say, like boarding happening sooner rather than later, because you really do want the impacts of, say, like killing crew and shields so that you can disable shields as soon as you possibly can. I find that more impactful than just being able to take the fight really quickly. I'm gonna get Necrotizing. Guardian Protocols isn't really that good. It only really benefits my Engineer, and my Engineer doesn't really need HP. Okay. Let's board into shields. If I can. Would be nice. Okay. Chaos Knight. Pretty sure it's just gonna be Chaos Knight and the Greater Warseer that's right here. So yeah, okay, I'm not gonna kill that. There's something, actually that might be a Chaos Knight. Okay, it's just the same Chaos Knight. Oh. How helpful. Wait, why did you get stunned, actually? genuinely don't know why he got stunned. I wasn't paying close enough attention. Right. Because the stun that's coming from their ship doesn't have friendly fire. Or it shouldn't, rather. Okay. Nice. That should kill, yeah. Brave Beam is very good at finishing off ships. Like, doing 5 hull damage is really good, but if it doesn't finish off the enemy, it kind of just ends up doing not a lot. I might go here and just heal up my mutant. I don't think it's like the optimal decision, but it'll make going into the mini boss easier. But I should heal enough from these 2 jumps. Or, yeah, 2 jumps. This is one of the new quest nodes, so I'm curious what the reward will be. But let's get 5 damage, please. Let's do it both ways. Alright, let's spawn 10 ghouls on this man. Yep. And... nice. That's pretty good. I do not have any space left. I'm gonna get level 2 Hull Reaper. Going to be nice to have the effectively having the cooldown on Hull Reaper. I don't know why the cooldown is 28 seconds instead of 30. It seems weird that it's specifically at 28, but whatever. Alright. Yeah, no, this is about what I want. Oh wait, how many... oh, I have a lot of Dark Matter Prisms. I have 4. I guess I'll give it to you. And I will go here. And that will be my setup. I'm gonna have this Blood Golem check if I have a launch bay to shields, but I shouldn't. I probably won't get it, and if I do, I'll move these guys over to launch bay and just use launch bay instead, because I don't want to use these Dark Matter Prisms if I can help it. I will get... actually, I won't get 1 more power. I do want enough to actually spend here, despite it being a system shop. I already have everything I want to get systems. Alright. Oh my gosh, of course it gets shields. Alright. What do I actually want board? Conqueror, because I took the relevant assault shield off to try to maximize with the Dark Matter Prisms. Maximize my my consistency with this fight, with always being able to board shields. But it's still gonna be... oh my gosh. This is still 3 DPS, but yeah, that sucks. I could have waited on my ship to let the drain strength cast, but I was a little distracted talking, which is not something I usually do. Some may think I am coping, and most of you would be right, but I will do it anyways. Alright. I'm going to use these Dark Matter Prisms. And I'm going... why are you casting here? Usually they cast 2 in here and 1 in engines. But some reason you're casting over here, which is interesting. Well, it's still Dark Matter Prism. And that is about the worst thing that could have happened there. O2 disabling on this fight is pretty nasty, because if they don't repair it, it's just bad. Because if all of these crew members die, and activates a boss level demonic card that you'll see on the final bosses, and
On the final bosses, you never want to activate it, and the same definitely holds true in this fight as well. It will force activate at like 8 hull at Torment 12, but you do not want to activate it early. It is very punishing. I think I'm gonna leave all the possessed Corsairs alive, and I'll tell you why. Actually, I'll even let the Massive Area clip, because these Grave Beams could crew kill them if I leave too few alive. So I do want to have some of them alive so that they can actually kill these ghouls that I'm about to just spam onto their ship. Love getting the HP warning for ghouls as well as blood golem. Actually, no, you don't get it for ghouls. It's just my blood golem got. I might repair drone there too. I might have to. I don't want them to suffocate. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to do it. That sucks. Except they suffocate and then I activate it at this high. Oh my gosh. Okay, hit doors. Go there, claim. Nice. And I'm gonna interrupt this because if I cast the repair drone in there, they'll probably just hit the force shield, and now I will repair drone their go-to. Because I do not want them to suffocate. That's why that Greater Necromancer dying in that room was so bad. It's now forced me to waste that. I could have probably gotten... I might have been able to get away with not doing it, but... doing so does run the risk of activating it early and then making this fight a lot harder than it really needed to be. And if this fight gets that hard, I would have much rather have just used the repair drone on O2. Okay. You're gonna cast. Why did he just do a big loop? The AI in this game is hilarious to me. I'm gonna shoot here. Actually, no. What's your system? 2? Okay. I'm going to get an unoptimal Hull Reaper and do 3 rooms there. Which will be 13 hull? No. 11 hull. So I want 2 rooms here. Oh, okay. I only did enough. I did 1 less damage than I predicted. Which is fine. Let's do this. But yeah. Alright. Now comes the part where I wait for everything to charge up, and I'm going to use Dark Runner Prisms here. Oh, another thing with the phase change at 8 hull. If O2 is disabled, it will evacuate all the oxygen, even if there's still some left. But if it's enabled, it won't do that. In both cases, it'll still spawn the Revenants and the Doom Effigies, but having O2 just powered in this fight is very impactful for when this thing gets to its percent amount that it deactivates on. Let's use this husk to do that. And of course, let's... I'm gonna use the Hull Reaper to activate here. Spawn these guys. I can't double grave here. I don't actually. I'm gonna recall. And Grave Beam has such a fast swipe, I'm pretty sure that at 6 hull this should kill. If it doesn't, I'll be doing either 2 or 4 damage. I'll be doing 2 damage at least. Yeah, okay, just kills. Nice. Thrice Cursed Reliquary is really good. Chaos Wrist is also really good.
The etheric gate that I got might be not impactful, which is weird. Yeah, I think I'll just get thrice cursed. If I wanted to rely on the etheric gate, the chaos rift would have been better, but I already have a decent setup for using dark matter prisms, and it's like I have to replace essentially the Imperial Enforcer with the etheric gate user, which scrap-wise is pretty inefficient. Rift Bomb's pretty good. Oh, I forgot I had you. Oh, you're going away. Antimatter Bomb's really slow. I don't like it, so therefore I just think it's generally going to be pretty bad. Rift Bomb, on the other hand, is pretty fast charging. 18 seconds for a 2 damage missile is pretty good, and 1 munition cost for that 2 damage is also really nice. On top of the Rift Breach that it creates, the Warp Breach. Alright, I'm going to put Graviton there. Graviton's a really good boarding support system, especially with teleporting boarding, where you'll teleport into the room, you won't have to move around, and then you'll just activate Graviton immediately, and then you'll just farm crew as they come in. And in my case, when I also have stun, it means I'll get a kill, and then all the other crewmen that were also funneling in will get stunned, and then more crew will try to funnel in, and then you'll just get a massive stun chain, and you'll end up with a ton of crew and like shields. And they're all stunned, and then you'll just slowly kill them all out. That is, if there's enough crew funneling in at the right time to do so, but yes, this is what I mean. The chances of a named sector are greater in the civilian sectors. Now, a little thing about named sectors as well, unless if they're Imperial Shrine Worlds, they cannot generate with Imperial Fortresses. Like the ones that I did the one I did in Sector 2 and the one here. Ruins, on the other hand, even if it is like a named exclusion sector, it can still spawn. So, only if it is not an exclusion zone, the first thing, not an exclusion zone, and it is an Imperial Shrine. At Sector 2 and 4, it won't generate a fortress if it is a named sector. Which is a lot of conditions, but it pops up, so it is worthwhile to know. Oh, I forgot to activate Graviton. I'm a little dummy. I'll do it here now, because this guy's gonna be funneling in, and I'll get a kill when he comes in. Yep. Terror missiles coming in. There's not much I can really do. Oh, but there is something I can do about it. Yeah, I missed. A little tidbit, but evasion is calculated when it passes this shield bar around you. If shields are on, I think if it's off, it'll calculate it as it passes over the room. So, it doesn't come up often, but it is very occasionally relevant. So, it's a little fun fact that you can keep at the back of your head. Alright. Curious what this quest node will be. Investigate. Rescue. Oh, this is actually one of the new events. I believe if you have a Imperial Scribe for this event, you always get the Commando. Otherwise, I think it's like a 50-50 if you get the Commando. That's one of the few new events. That's a funny visual glitch. So, there's still a quest indicator. That little box that you'll see is something that was added in this beta to like just differentiate the quest nodes. Like, say a quest node generated here, and the quest, it said quest here. You don't really know if it's the top or bottom node, so they added this little box so it clarifies. I will be going to the quest node. So quests overwrite what the node normally is. Like, that was supposed to be a transport node, but because a quest generated on that node, it will overwrite it, and it will just generate what the quest is. And it will include, that includes, like, if it's a weather,
event, like say that was like a toxic weather event, the quest node would overwrite that. Aw, it still hit. Another one. Alright. Hopefully, can get another grave beat before this run ends. Like, oh wow. That is a really nasty second part of this event. Hopefully the reward is actually good. Because taking 2 force damage on shields and getting a bunch of really, like, 2 marshals is pretty nasty. Oh, and Fury, what the... I think I'll rift bomb that. Fury is definitely not tied to this event, but it is very nasty for it to generate like that. Yeah, no, you're not doing anything there. Okay. Of course there's a fire that spawns in shields. I think I'll just put it out manually. And not that. Okay. That looks like it's gonna hit this room right here. I'm not gonna turn off my shields to confirm that, but if I just let that hit, it would have just hit nothing probably. Which is nice. That would have hit engines. Alright, let's rift bomb again. And... I'm gonna Dark Matter Prism here. So Overflow goes from, I believe... It's either top right to bottom left or top left to bottom right. But usually all you really need to know is that Overflow will go to the top. That's usually the most applicable one. Or rather, the most applicable knowledge where if you teleport here, it'll overflow here. If you teleport here, it'll overflow here, and then it'll overflow here. So it matters about, like, how rooms are separated. Oh, so yeah, it is top left to bottom right. So go here before I would go here. Alright. Please don't die. Nice. Okay, that 1 damage into shields is really important. Because that is the thing that's going to allow me to... Actually, this is just going to kill them, isn't it? I was going to say that's what's going to allow me for my next salvos to actually do damage. Or a notable amount, but I'm pretty sure the Grave Beams just kill, yeah. Power of Skulls, Gore Sludge, and 69 scrap. This is a really nice reward. Yeah. Okay. It's being a little risky keeping the husk in that room, but never punished for doing dumb things. I'm gonna upgrade, actually. Yeah, I'm not gonna upgrade doors yet. But I will soon. It's getting to a point where I do want to do that. I'm gonna use Launch Bay. And I also forgot to restock on my Dark Matter Prisms. Pretty nice. A little thing about a pretty nice scrap from the crate, but a thing about crates is, at least from my observation, they tend to give, at least at Torment 12, more scrap than, like, what you would get from destroying the ship, if it gives scrap. It can just give you, like, 1 cryo foam, and then you'll just, like, cry in a hole, but usually the scrap that you get from the freight is just gonna be better than from what you get from blowing up the ship. Like, take, for example, I got 44 scrap from the crate, and, well, this is probably not a good example because I didn't get scrap, but I get about 30 scrap equivalent. I'm gonna get the Thunder. I quite like Thunder. It's pretty nice at just doing good damage. 12 seconds for 2 damage is pretty effective. Alright. Do I have tool slots? I do not. I think I'm going to get one Marshal. And despite me saying that replacing this Enforcer with a favorite gate user was going to be inefficient, I kind of want to use my Assault Shields, believe it or not. I could get the other one. Yeah, I think I will. I just have a lot of scrap and I need tool slots. And these are the only options. I will put the other assault shield on him. Oh, I could replace this with the Conqueror. What am I thinking? Oh, speak of the Conqueror, there he is. Okay. Let's just let Tower Skulls kill this guy. Do I get scrap from this? Weapon? Nothing? Nothing. 48 scrap. Nice. Pretty nice. Okay. With this transport event, if you choose one of these, there's a chance you won't get it compared to other transport nodes where you always get it. And this guarantees it, but as it says, you'll get a random ship. This, if you can get the roll on this, like if you don't have this gold option, going for captives is actually like really good. But you usually just do this and you'll get a bunch of stuff. Alright. Are they all board? Yeah, they're all borders. Okay. I'm getting low on munitions, so I think I'll pick up some more on the next shop. Alright, maybe I'll be able to make the scrap comparison with this node. This combat, if you will. Alright, how much do I get? No scrap. Let me make the comparison. I would much appreciate it. You know, this fight's pretty much over. Grave Beam's just gonna kill him. He won't repair in time. Neat. Another machine cannon. I'm not really a fan of machine cannon. Getting the minus 25% boost speed does just suck. Like a lot. Well, not a lot, but it does generally not feel great. Well, they had a scribe. So that graviton only hurts me. Great. Not like it matters. Okay, 46 gram. What do I get from killing that ship? Let's move you out. Yeah, let's use a Rift Bomb. I actually got a lot of munitions from that event, so now I can go back to consuming them. Don't be afraid to use munitions, but if you're at like sub 10 or at like 10 munitions, I would start being careful. Usually I'm a bit careful with my munitions when I get around to 10, or depending, it can also be like 15 munitions, like on Ancient A, where munitions are like your lifeline to doing hull damage. You really don't want to run out of them, so you'll be a lot more careful to not run out, actually. But usually if you're only like relying on it like a little bit and you don't really necessarily need it to kill ships, like I don't need Rift Bomb or Hull Reaper to kill ships, I can get by without doing it. Alright. Board sensors, blow up shields, farm
weapons with both of these 12-second guns. 12-second cooldown guns, rather. And then shoot both grave beams here, and that should beat the fight. Tower Skulls makes this significantly easier. Like, if I didn't have Tower Skulls here, that would have taken a lot longer, and it would have taken about 2 salvos to kill this fight, because just by shields not being disabled as quickly, but because of Tower Skulls being, like, a thing, shields just gets disabled really quickly, and fights are incredibly quick. Well, it actually took about 30 seconds because of Grave Bane, but whatever. Retrieve the relic. Blessed Blade. I think I'll put that on the Conqueror. I don't want to replace Machine Cannon. As much as I don't like it, it is still 4 DPS in large rooms at the end of the day. Alrighty. This should kill one of them really quickly. I only need to use Graviton. In fact, Graviton, I think, makes this fight slower, because I'm killing stuff so fast in here. The funnel-in rate is pretty beneficial. Or rather, how many crew get in that room quickly. I'm gonna get the power field. I don't need the munitions. So if I get something like, I don't know, Imperial Scribe from this shop right here, because it has crew contracts, and I really would like a Scribe. Aw. But it's good on the 15 HP units, like, namely Scribe, just to give them some extra survivability, if you don't really need to use the tool slot for something like Warbringer reagents, or repair drones, or something of the likes. Fusion, I guess you could also use fusion charges, though I wouldn't always suggest it. I don't really need the stun this run. I have stun by killing, and I have Tower Skulls to get kills really quickly, so I don't think I need this. War Seer. Everything else is pretty meh as well. I could get Auto Surgeon, but I don't think I want it. Though it would be the good choice to do, because I don't have any other healing nor purify, so if I get Necrobarge, not having an ability to heal in Necrobarge would be rather tragic. Alright, let's teleport here. 55 scrap. That's less scrap than the Sector 2 one. That's pretty good. I don't know why that actually generated with more scrap the Sector 2 Fortress rather than the Sector 4 one. I might have to try to find an answer for that. Or if just the scrap range is really large and I got really lucky. Which I'm pretty sure, well, I did get very lucky with that reward. But really, how lucky did I get with the reward is the question. Depart now? That was really easy. Alright. If you can have teleporting for planetary fortresses, it's going to be pretty nice. Like in that case, where not only do you not have to wait for the infiltrating thing to finish up, you can just go to the room with the crate and claim it. I'm gonna go Blood Cult. Also just noticed that there were no exclusion sectors in this run, when the most recent update was making exclusion sectors more interesting. Or rather, one of the more recent updates. The most recent update would be the events that were added. That sucks. Why is this just Cyber Priests? Oh my gosh. I think I'm gonna just try to kill this ship, because I am not gonna get anything else done. Well, rather, I'm not gonna kill quick enough for hull kill rather quick enough for to outpace the crew killing, and I'm not going to lose enough HP in crew killing that I would prefer to hull kill. Yeah, there we go. It's a scrap though. There we go. Do I want Gore Shrine? Do I still have this etheric gate? I forget. I think I do. I can't check it. Oh, I can. Yeah, okay, I still have it. So I could go Gore Shrine, Shaman, try to get a Elder Blood Mage. I think I'll do that. Because Elder Blood Mage is one of the few Psychers that are pretty good at using Etheric Gate. I did actually see a Psyker that was decent at using Etheric Gate earlier, and that was the Herald of Ruin. That was in one of the shops. I know, a very specific one of the shops, but I don't remember at this point. Please don't cast here. Okay, nice. I'm assuming that this is an Elder Blood Mage, so I'm just gonna let him cast the Thrall. You're going here. There we go. I'm gonna fire here to hopefully interrupt that Elder Blood Mage that I suspect that it is. Though it could just be a, oh, there's the Elder Blood Mage. Oh, I bet you what happened is the Elder Blood Mage wanted to path here, because shields was damaged way before engines. And what probably happened is the Elder Blood Mage wanted to path here, so immediately after he finished casting, he pathed to shields and then casted his Blood Spear after. So think of it as like something prevents him from moving because he's casting, but he still wants to move to shields. And after he's done casting the Thrall, he then moves to shields. And then only after that does he then check again if he has a spell that he can cast, and then he casts it. That's my theory about what happened in that specific scenario. That probably won't happen again, but it is useful to at least think why certain things happen, because if you do come to a conclusion that is legitimately useful, then you can just use that in every single run after. But if it isn't applicable, then now you have a neat observation about AI behavior that probably no one really cares about, but still, it is useful in the very niche scenario that it is applicable. Alright. I'll kill. Nice. I could use medbay here to heal up all of us, but I am, quite frankly, too bothered to. This run is already very good, and I really don't need the HP. There's the Elder Blood Mage. Nice. Alright, what do you have? Loot! Mites. Okay. That is not common. Not good, but also not common, so I guess I'm lucky in a weird way. It's not bad, but it's not good. The reason why I say it's not good is because Bloat Might Summon is essentially Soul Spear, but just worse. Like 2-second longer cast, and you have to kill the Bloat Might to do system damage, and it does no hull damage. It's just not good. Now, with you being made obsolete with the Elder Blood Mage, I can now do a third gate on you. Oh, there's a fun thing I can do now that I have Elder Blood Mage and Medbay. I'll show that off a little bit later. I suppose I could give it to you. Yeah, okay. Let's go crew again. See if I can get another Elder Blood Mage. The thing I want to do with Medbay and Elder Blood Mage is better when I have more blood spear users, so if I can get another blood spear user, it'd be pretty funny. Also just rolling to see if I can get something like, I don't know, a scribe, which would be really nice here. Parachute. That is useless. Pretty much. You know, let's put it on this guy because that'd be funny to give him fire immunity when he already has fire immunity. I'll probably forget to sell it. Do I even need to sell it? Not really. Okay. Let's do the thrall thing that I was talking about. Elbow thing, rather. Alright. So, if you have a thrall and medbay, you can sacrifice it, activate medbay, and the thrall won't die. So you can get, like, a ton of blood spears on from a single thrall. I think it's 3 from 1 blood spear. If I have 2 blood spears, I could get, I think, 5 off. Because what you can do is, so only one Kronberg can be sacrificing a single thrall at one time. So what you have to do is you kind of have to let the one EBM sacrifice the thrall, and then after he's done sacrificing the thrall, or quote unquote in this case because the thrall's not actually dying, you can then cast your other blood mage, and you can just continuously do that until either you run out of blood spears to cast, or you run out of medbay juice. Well, also, I think 4 Elder Blood Mages is like the max value that you can get from a single thrall, because 1 second cast time, 3 second cooldown. You can have 1 Elder Blood Mage sacrificing each second before the cooldown will come off the one that sacrificed the thrall first. Which means that if I have 2 thrall, oh my gosh! You know, I was about to say 2 thralls and 8 EBMs. You can get a lot of blood spears, and so each thrall can have 4 Elder Blood Mages. Okay. I guess we're gonna have some fun with this little cheesy strategy, but yeah, that is really funny. Oh my gosh. I also get that, but the Chaos Drift is going to be pretty nice for anti-boarding. Now let's get that doors upgrade that I was also talking about earlier. And I also upgrade medbay so I can get more uses out of my little cheesy strat. Alrighty. Credit where credit's due. I believe the first person to discover the little thrall thing was, I believe, Siggy Snake, the moderator, and this happened like months ago. Like at least 6 or something, I forget. It's a very old little bug that you can do this with the thrall. I didn't see the bug report. I did come to it just by accident, but Siggy did find this out first, if I am not wrong. Okay. Also, if I didn't already mention, Siggy is the moderator on the Void War Discord. Very chill guy. Very, very friendly. Alright. Actually remembered to use Graviton this time. Nice. I'm not going to use the Blood Spear strat on this, because I really don't need to. But yeah. They'll just kill everything. And there's nothing I need to do. Oh, a little thing about Force Shield users. They will stop casting Force Shield if they are the last crew that can contest boarding on the ship. Now, if you have multiple Force Shield users, and there's no non-Force Shield user left, like they all died, it'll take one of the Force Shield users, and it'll move them to your room to contest. It won't take, like, all of them. So, they'll kind of do, like, a little piecemeal thing. The most common case where this is applicable is in, when you get ships with multiple aberrants that spawn with Force Shield. Otherwise, you usually don't get more than one Force Shield. Unless if you're fighting Necrophage, that is. Necrophage or those Raider ships with multiple aberrants with Force Shield. Well, no, they don't actually have to be Raider ships. They can also be, Blood Cult ships. Anyways. This should absolutely melt the Chaos Knights. This is also part of the reason why I don't really like DPS capping. I know it's a bit, like, dumb because you're not really needing to tank damage. And, of course, the extra damage that you get from, say, Assault Shield is just gonna be better than having a DPS cap. But, you know, it is still a relevant factor. Kill, please. If you're about to get hit by shots and you kill them, you can pause the game. And after you receive your reward, the shots should miss. I think the only exclusion to this is that asteroids from asteroid fields will not follow this rule if I'm not wrong. They will still hit you. Asteroids do not care if you get your reward or not. Oh, this is new. Open comms. Oh. Pallid. Assist the cultist, enact riot control measures, or fight and leave. Okay, what is here? Recent Spanier inhibited their slaving efforts. Now they are requesting aid in pacifying the planet's populace. Okay. So I imagine if I do this, I might get a crew member, which is nice, and I'm not sure what fight entails, but I'm sure it means fight the cultists, and assist the cultists might give you a % chance to get crew. But let's see what this does. Yep. Gives me a crew. Impressed a ranking mother. Okay. Nice. That is a very good event. So, Deathbringer is actually a Psyker you won't get to see a lot of the time, because I think the only time you really find this guy is either A, if you're playing Relic A, or B, if you are pledged to death cults. Otherwise, I don't think they appear in shops. You can also get them from slave crates, but it's very unlikely. Alright. Yeah, no, nothing else to do here. Let's just go. Any of the bosses here are fine. Okay, it's Starflare, which is just the weakest bonus. Would have preferred if it were something stronger, but what can you do? It's just gonna be... Oh, I've actually gotten this one. If you do total war measures, you'll just get a bunch of scrap and some unique rewards, if I'm not wrong. At least that's what happened last time I did it. Here's the Raider ship I was talking about. It's like Force Shield users. This is where that, what I talked about earlier, is relevant. Where if you have multiple of these guys, in this case I killed them before, they'll pass one by one. Couldn't really illustrate that principle in action. Oh, you also get a crew member, nice. I couldn't illustrate the principle of that in action because I killed them so quickly, but it is that I am certain that is how that works. Soothe the Beast is also one I've gotten before. Animate Dead as a Psychomancy. Wait, what? I think that's the first time I've ever seen Animate Dead as like a Psychomancy you could put on something. Oh my gosh, that's a troll. I have finished discarding. Hold on, no, I can for some reason you can't equip psychomancies, but you can equip tools while you're in this screen. I don't know why, but you can. Oh my gosh, right. Discard. Put this on here. I think I'm just gonna sell it. Because putting Ghoul Casting on an Elder Blood Mage really won't do much, especially when I am going to be doing this. I don't know how the Thrall didn't get stunned there, don't ask me. Alright. And here's what I was talking about. Did he die? He died! Why did he die? I don't know why he died, but he did. I don't know, let's just fire all these. Shields should be disabled. Actually, no, could I have one power? Okay, shields is disabled. Nice. And that's that fight. Are you kidding me? There we go. I thought that was gonna kill, but it didn't. It was 1 off. Or 2 off. Okay. Surprise Hull Reaper level 3. It's always fantastic. Alright, let's do the same thing. Ooh, there's a crate there. I will... Okay, hold on. I kinda botched a little bit, but... Okay, we should be fine. Nice. And then he'll be recalled by the time. I don't know why that's killing him. That's actually... this is... I think the second time I actually encountered this. But it is no matter. Blood Spear in mass, even without this little chief, is still really good. That is a lot of gunfire. Pretty glad I have Shield Charger. So if I had one shield there, it's pretty likely that some of those shots would have gotten through by the thing that I talked about way earlier, which was shots in close proximity to each other, getting through Shield Charger. But because these shots aren't close enough in proximity to each other, and they kind of can just come at 2 at a time every like second or so. Shield Charger has enough time to recharge 2 shields for every time 2 hits. If there's 3 storms, I think Shield Charger gets slightly outpaced by the damage. So there is a risk of some of them hitting. I'm gonna put Blood Golem in medbay, just so I can spawn it and immediately get to it rather than moving Thrall from up here into there. But for this fight, I'm just gonna throw a kill because it seems like the simplest thing here. Very similar thing to that last fight, where, like, okay, so it's about every half second these hit, and then, oh, okay, so 2 actually very slightly outpaces this, but they don't shoot long enough for the Hull Rippers to actually get through. Noted. Okay, well, it looks like I will have to. Okay, he just didn't die this time. Why? I don't know. Alright. And that is that fight. Oh, 6 damage with Grave Beam is pretty nice. Alright, send these guys to up. They are rather low, and I believe... Actually, is the next one a shop? Okay, I'll just go to the shop and then heal. No, fire. I could walk this guy through medbay and try to get maximum value out of this medbay, but I have 2 charges, and it is not of paramount importance for me to preserve those charges when I'm just going to get them next node. So I'll just do this the unoptimized way. That nets the same result. Alright. Oh, purify. Oh, no space. Ooh. Look at that. Now... Okay. Put you here. Put you here. Put you here. Okay. So what oh no, you're gonna go here. That's the overflow. So... No. Hold on. Where does this overflow? So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get all the, this guy's, overflow into medbay, and then have the... Oh, I need both of their overflows to go to medbay, so I should do this. Because I want Tooth Falls in medbay, so I can do my little strategy. This is where the knowing how overflow works actually is pretty important. Oh, so it goes top right to bottom left, okay. Because if I'm pretty sure if I have these guys out here, yeah, it overflows into this room. But if I have these guys in the room, it should overflow into medbay. Okay, yeah, so now I can just cast both. They'll both overflow here, and then I can immediately start doing it. Nice. I'll also get the Blood Priest, just so I have even more thralls that I'm going to get from boarding. Alright. Let's put Purifying you. And I guess I'll put Burden on you for spell interruption. Why not? Get the Scavenger for the tool slot. I'll also get you for the tool slot. Do you have a tool slot? You do. I'll also get you. And it seemed that Thrice Cursed Reliquary wasn't as important as it needed to be because I just got 4 Elder Blood Mages. It would have been very impactful if I didn't get it, but I did, so no need to be concerned about it now, I suppose, or rather regret going for Thrice Cursed Reliquary. Do I have, what do you have? Blessed Blade. You have both those 2. I could have sworn I had 2 Ion Carbines. But yeah, I do. Okay. So, so Ion Carbine in general is pretty bad. 1 Ion Carbine doesn't do anything. 2 Ion Carbines essentially does the same thing that 1 Havoc Pulverizer will do, but there is one exclusion to that, and that is against bosses. If you continuously kill crew, if you kill like a ton of crew, like way more than you needed to disable shields, you're still stacking Ion on that system. So what'll happen is you'll get like a bajillion Ion on this system, and it'll just be permanently Ion for effectively the whole fight. And it is pretty nice. Oh, all of these are on my ship. I'm gonna cast there because there's usually a Blood Knight here, but I'm pretty sure he's pathing over here. Yeah. Let's Graviton. And where's this going? Okay, it's going to my ship. I am not going to move all my crew to different rooms because This sounds a little too lazy to do that. I have so much crew. This looks like it's going to weapons. Or to missile bay. It could be either or. So I'm gonna move you down, because if you move up, you'll never get out in time. Okay, so it's weapons, nice. I guess I'll blinkers, see what I can catch. I want to activate this phase change as quickly as I can, because I don't want to kill so much crew that I activate the demonic heart that I so feared in the necrophage fight. But yeah, no. Hit for just general boss strategy. Or have boarding for shields, or just some way to disable shields, and you need to be able to do that twice. And as long as you can disable shields fully twice, and you have good ways of dealing hull damage, you should be fine. This should trigger the phase change. If this thrall dies though, before that, it would be really bad. Alright, where's my Purify? Because it would activate it. But now that I have all these little tendrils on my ship, which all spawned in pretty bad rooms, it should be fun. I'm gonna just leave this one alive. It is the only one that happened to be in an empty room. Usually you get more in empty rooms, but in this case, no such luck. My husk died. I could have spawned Hydras and ended that, but it is in fact a husk, so why should I care? Yeah, just recall. And because this fight's so easy, I'll just... Why are you going back? Where's my Gold Magus? With bloat money that I'm not using. Let's not re-enter the room with the tendril though. Kill my units. Yeah, I'll just spawn everything. I'll do more damage. Stop. I'm just gonna save my positions out of this room, so I'll continuously do that throughout the rest of the fight. But you can see what I mean by the shields are just not getting repowered. Like, I'm pretty sure I don't need to even, like, ever damage shields again in this fight, because she's going to be disabled. Oh! I finally got that achievement from Double Grave Beam. I've been putting off that achievement. We are going to eat you having 15 ghouls for so long because I just don't really like summon strategies. But unintentionally doing it with Double Grave Beam is probably the most fun way that I could think of doing it. At least for me personally. Fun is, after all, subjective. Okay. Let's just repair drone that. I couldn't be bothered to actually wait for that to repair, because this fight is going to be over within like 10 seconds. Okay, it's probably been a little bit more than 10 seconds at this point. But that should be it. No, I got hit by one blood spear before they died. Oh well. Well, that's that. Didn't even need to use much of any special strategies like Mind Bolt or Drink Strength, Boarding Support, Chaos Rift, or really anything. Not even reagent spam. Player's just bad. But yeah. Oh wow, that's a lot of scrap for Torment 12. I think this is the highest scrap I've gotten in a while in the release version. Or rather the post
exclusion sectors getting nerfed majorly change. But that'll be that. I hope you have a good day. See you around.